recording. Oh, all right. This beautiful machine behind me is a 1976 Plymouth Scamp that used to be owned.
1974.
You told me 76. I've been looking at 76 for freaking weeks. I gotta redo shit. Okay, anyway, apparently it's a 74. My bad.
Wait a minute. I think it is a 76. Oh man, I'm so confused.
It's alright.
I don't know.
We'll figure it out. You know, there is a way we could tell.
You look at the door.
Well, look at the door and check the bin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, actually, let's just do that right now. Let's solve this crap.
I'm confused. I've had so many cars that were Plymouths.
So, the point was, it used to be owned by this fellow, and he sold me it. It's been sitting in a storage unit for 13 years. 2011 it was parked. And now we're going to get it, hopefully, back on the road.
I backed it in, and it still ran at the time. And that was 13 years ago. Man, those 13 years went by like, I don't know.
Date of manufacture, October 75, so it's a 76.
Okay. All right, yeah. So you were right. I was
76,
wrong.
Plymouth Scamp, which is basically a rebadged Dodge Dart Swinger, right?
Well,
I know it's a Dodge Dart.
The title and a lot of the paperwork that I had said a Scamp Valiant.
Valiant Scamp. So yeah, so basically the research I've done, 70 to 76, Plymouth wanted a known commodity, but they wanted their own rebranding of a Dodge Dart. I'm pretty sure it's either a Sport or a Swinger. It's the smallest Dodge Dart. And they wanted to rebrand it so that Dodge can put out their own version of the Duster. I believe this is correct. I get killed in the comments, I know I am. I'm brand new to Mopar, but like old Mopar. So anyway, they chose to name it the Valiant Scamp because Valiant was a known name going back to the late 50s, early 60s, I believe. But it was four-door, and so they wanted the Dart, basically, so that's what they did. They let Dodge put out their own version of a Duster. I think it was the Dodge Demon. They did that for 2 years, and they rebranded it as something else. So anyway.
Yeah, Plymouth Duster, Scamp, Dodge Dart.
All Mopar A-body.
Yeah, they're all pretty much, they have some interchangeable parts. Like I think the grill I could have got.
It's pretty much anything on the chassis, anything like even a lot of the mechanics, a lot of the interior they can all be.
At one point, now when I got the car, I bought the car in '94 or '95 from an elderly gentleman who told me that it had been parked for years. His mom drove it and only put a few thousand miles on it, and he was selling it as is to me. And I found out later from an old classmate of mine. We had a little bit of a class reunion during a funeral, of course. We met at the wake at the bar later on. He said, "So you still got my old Dodge, my old Plymouth Scamp?" And I was like, "What do you mean your Plymouth Scamp?" He goes, "Well, yeah, that was mine. I drove that in high school. Don't you remember?" I was like, "Yeah, you did drive. You drove a car a lot like that. Yeah, that was my car." I was like, "Old man Withers told me that his mom drove it and bought it brand new in the 70s. And he goes, "He's lying. He's always been a liar." So.
Oh, good old rural Nebraska for you.
Yeah, but at the time in the mid '90s, after I bought it, a friend of mine, I guess, he had a four-door Dart, and I think that was a '76 too. So he having a lot of problems with it. Couldn't afford gas, couldn't get a job, couldn't keep a job, frankly. So it wound up in my garage for about 6 months. And I told my wife at the time, and it's like, he doesn't come get it. I'm going to part it out. And she goes, what are you going to do with it? So I can use a lot of those parts on the Scamp. But he came and got it, so I couldn't do anything with the dart, unfortunately. So it was a pretty clean dart, you know, not too many dents, not too much rust. This didn't have the rust on it that it does now, but you know, that's 30 years ago. So
Well, and also a different environment of driving.
yeah, I drove it, during the winters here in Nebraska, and just roads are just sloppy. And then I put it on a trailer when I moved to Colorado. I lived in Colorado for about 9 years and drove it almost all of those 9 years between 3 different cars. I had a Cougar that I drove for a while till I blew the motor out of that.
What year was that?
I think it was an 86. Not sure. But I lived in an apartment complex, didn't have a garage or anything, so it was hard for me to work on it. So I had to junk that, and I had a 80 or 81 BMW, little 2-door BMW.
Right, that's the one you told me about.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
I showed you the model,
Yeah.
the model kit by Revell.
It was basically it wasn't a 3 Series, but it was close to a 3 Series. Small 2-door, right?
Yeah. And I drove that until one winter, driving a neighbor to work, and you know, he had to get to the mall where he worked, and they were driving around the parking lot. Well, there's these huge drifts and everything in there, so it's hard to see the curb, and I curb checked it hard.
Oof.
And it didn't run right after that. I think the wheel went from like this to like that.
Oh, yeah.
So I pretty much did that in. So it was back to driving the Scamp, and it had problems when I took it out there.
Mm-hmm. What kind of problems? Let's
Well, right after I bought it, I noticed that something either in the carburetor or the linkage between the carburetor and the gas pedal.
So throttle cable.
Yeah, the throttle cable would just, I'd be getting up to speed and then just go full blast. It'd go to the floor all by itself without my foot on it. I was like,
Oh wow. Okay.
and stepping on the brakes made it worse. It would just spin the tires.
I mean, it can be fun, but not
Yeah.
in an everyday situation.
Yeah, so luckily, you know, I was able to like hit the brake, put it in neutral, and then shut it off. And it didn't have a neutral safety switch, so
Okay. Yeah.
so then I could just put it in park and then start it up again, and it would be normal. So there's something sticking in the throttle or the carburetor. I'm
Okay,
not
so
sure.
that's something we got to add to the list.
Yep.
Speaking of, you see those little markers over there? Let me see that. I got a whiteboard over here. I'm gonna write that down and make sure I get with that. All right. So anyway, so you went to Colorado. Was that the only thing that was amiss?
Windshield wipers don't work. I had a
Okay.
manual windshield wiper consisting of a long wooden dowel about this long with
Okay.
a bit of wire on the end of it like a hook. And I would roll down the window and reach out while I was driving down I-25 and catch a hold of the windshield wipers and manually move it back and forth. So I actually took that apart and looked at that. And there's linkage missing inside the rotor housing, I guess is what it's called.
So like
It's up against the
right, it's
front.
underneath this.
Yeah, right up there. There's actual, you know, I took it off, took the cover off and looked in there. It's actually missing like a washer, like a slotted washer.
Okay.
Where you just slide it on there, and it holds the linkage together.
Like a lock washer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, lock washer.
All right. Well, easy enough. So besides sticky throttle, wiper motor, anything else you've noticed?
Well, I told you about the trunk lid.
Right. Oh, that's an interesting story. You should probably tell them that.
Yeah. So my wife.
Names have been redacted.
Yeah. So my wife, now ex-wife, her oldest son was probably about 18, and I was in my late 20s. So my ex-wife is like 12 years older than me. So yeah, her oldest son really wanted to borrow the Scamp and go see a movie. As I was kind of hesitant about that, but after a while, her browbeat me, and it's like, okay, fine, here's the keys. But I was afraid that he would get a case of beer and stick it in the trunk, so I didn't give him the trunk key.
Which is another story.
So him and his friends, they got a different ride home, and he told his mom, who then told me that it had a flat tire, and they left it by the side of the road, like 5 miles west of town, out on a country road. So I went out there, and he told me it was like more than a flat tire. It blew out, and it bent the. He told me it bent the shaft or something like that. And I went out there, jacked it up. Tire was just flat. It wasn't a blowout.
It just went flat.
Yeah, but it looks like from the tracks behind the car, he was trying to take a corner too fast, and basically went into the ditch, hit something like a big rock or a piece of wood or something. I don't know what it was.
Okay.
But that's what popped the tire. They're tubeless, so it's just
Yeah.
But yeah, I was not happy with that. And not only that, what I was really unhappy was that he tried to get the spare out of the trunk, but since he didn't have the trunk key, because I didn't give it to him, he punched the lock out. So
How do you do that?
I don't know.
So anyway, I'll show you guys this. I'll edit it in. All right, so here's our time capsule segment. Bob wants to dig into the trunk and see what we can find. So real quick. Let's do this. So this is what happens when you neglect to give an 18-year-old a key and he decides to take it upon himself to try and do something. Completely punched out. I'm going to have Bob show me how he opens this anyway.
Right.
So hold on. Let's let me level this out. All right. You good to go, sir.
Flat tip screwdriver. Up and down like that. There's a little slot in there, a little bit wider than the tip.
And look at that. All right. Looks like, but it's basically like pried out. It's like a big hole. And now we have to get a long freaking flat tip. Get it in there, pop it open. So there's that. I'm not adding that to the list. I know that's there.
Yeah, is anything else? I can't really think of anything. I'm sure I'll think of something else as soon as I get home.
Yeah.
So that's the way it usually works.
Yeah. So anyway, you're in Colorado. You started driving it again, and then what happened from there?
Oh yeah, okay. So I was divorced at the time, and had a fiance, and within the space of 1 month, I had lost my job and lost her, and no, it was more than a month. It was more like one summer, where she kicked me out of the house, so I had to get an apartment and another job and driving this. And this wasn't running too well. It would overheat a lot.
Okay.
So it's probably thermostat.
Yeah, blocking it from going through. You notice any cooling on the ground or anything, or is it was just running hot?
Yeah, it would just run hot.
Yeah.
It'd probably just go
block
right
it
out of the
thermostat.
boil out of the
Yeah.
out of the radiator
Okay.
and just the radiator cap bypass and just flush it right out onto the ground.
Okay.
So yeah, I wound up riding a 10-speed to work all the time. That was fun. Basically parked this unless I absolutely had to drive. Didn't. So it was basically parked a lot of the time and didn't drive it unless I absolutely had to. And then I got couldn't pay rent because lost my job too. All right,
that's fun. It's very depressing. So
Colorado is really, really, I don't know. It had my number. It was out to get me. So so I wound up had to move out of my apartment, moved into a friend's place in Cheyenne, lived in his basement for a few months till I got a job here in North Platte in 2010, 2011, and eventually after a couple months, I had some money in my pocket, could get a U-Haul truck and go back to Cheyenne, pick up all my stuff, bring it back here. Had the Scamp, and I think I got it. I think I put it on the back of a trailer, a little car trailer behind a U-Haul, and brought it back down.
Now, like full on trailer, or was like the back tires on the ground kind of thing?
No, it's all four wheels were off the ground.
Okay.
So I didn't have to, disconnect the
drive shaft,
or anything like that. So and it would still run, but I just didn't want to run it very long because I knew it would just overheat real quick. So
right. So basically, the overheating is why you stopped driving.
Yeah. Okay. So got it off the trailer, backed it right into the storage unit where it sat for 13 years.
Right. And I didn't record all of us getting it out, but over the last couple of weeks, I've been acquiring new wheels. They're all so it's 3 steel. There's 1 rally wheel, which is kind of cool. I kind of want all 4 rallies all the way around. It'd be kind of nice. But anyway, they're all different size tires because I just got used ones. I said, throw them on there. It's a funny story. So 14-inch rims now are not that common. So if you get them, you're basically getting like really cheap import tires on these wheels instead of like the big beefy Cooper Cabras that they have, at all the car shows and stuff to put on there. So anyway, it's got the full size spare in the back. The rally wheel is on the other side, and then just like it's almost raked at this point because it's got super small tires on 14-inch rims in the front. But it was kind of cool. Anyway, I didn't film all of it, but we got the tires changed. We did notice some other things. There is some rust concerns in the front over here, which once I get it running and driving, I'm going to take it to a body shop and see if there's anything we can do about it. If not, it seems structural. It got here safe. So there's that. So we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, other thing we noticed is once we got all the wheels on, we tried to push it out of the storage unit, and it wouldn't fucking move. And I was like, I think that the brakes are seized. So we got under here, this side, we jacked it up, we got the tire back off, and I was like, I tried to turn it's got disc brakes in the front, so I tried to turn it, not going anywhere. He had just put new brakes on it when he parked it. And I was like, that sucks, because I mean, the meat and everything on the brake pads.
It was the same year. I mean,
yeah.
I hadn't.
No, it looks great. It's just, it's been sitting so long now that they just seized up.
I hadn't driven this car more than 100 miles after I got new brakes put on it because it's just overheating so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, not only did I get new calipers, new pads, I also got new drums and new.
Oh yeah, the drums look fantastic.
Yeah, everything was brand new, and that cost me about $700 more than $700 to replace the brakes all the way around.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, especially with new drums, new rotors, all that.
Yeah.
That adds up quick. And especially back then, $700. It was what? That was 2011, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2010,
I can't imagine what it's going to be now.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to find out soon. So yeah, anyway, we got the tire off, tried to spin it, didn't work. So I'm looking at it. I take my freaking, my huge breaker bar that I got, and I'm like beating on it a little bit. It's not loosening up. I'm like, this is going to fucking suck. In my mind, that's all I'm thinking is like, we're going to be here for hours trying to do this shit. So I'm looking on top of where the calipers are at, and it's got a two-piece caliper, and I noticed that when I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay. So I take off the two top screws that hold the two pieces together, and I'm like, try to spin it, nothing. I'm like, looking at the back, I'm gonna take off all the caliper bolts and all this other kind of stuff. So I get a little frustrated. I didn't tell Bob this, but I just, out of frustration, I just like hit the thing. The caliper starts separating itself real quick. I'm like, huh. So I take freaking the lug wrench crowbar that came with the vehicle, and basically in a matter of a minute and a half, I got it popped off. Batteries. All right, say hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Right. Okay. 1976 Scamp. We're trying to get it out of the storage shed. So far, we had to take one seized brake caliper off. I don't know if you can really see that. It's kind of hard to get in there. Now we gotta do the other side just to get this thing out. Stay tuned. I'm just gonna record over all that edited shit.
You'd think that the handle would be on the back side of that instead of on the front.
Well, I put it on the wrong side. I put it backwards. Shut up, Bob. You got this. All right, let's get this other wheel on. Oh wait, no, I need the bungee cords.
Oh.
That might, I might have to replace his batteries here, but it's down to one already.
Oh no.
It started with 3. Okay. Mirror caliper. Still rotates. So actually, let's see what I was doing.
And those bungee cords have been in the trunk for 13 years.
That's insane.
But they've been out of the weather, so
Oh yeah,
they still got some elasticity to them.
they felt brand new, man.
Plastic broke pretty easily, though, like it's been sitting around for 13 years.
Yeah.
Plastic containers that they were in. Or wrapping, plastic wrapping or whatever.
It's not gonna do it. That'll be fine though. Just that. Nope, I don't like that. However, if I can put it like this, around
go around that sway bar underneath.
Good job, Bob. Just the moves. Will, please. Yeah, here, hammer. Oh no.
What?
Oh, never mind. It was acting funny. I thought the whole rotor was coming out. I was like, oh shit.
Oh shit. That would not be good.
Would not be good. That's fine though.
The brake caliper, the only thing holding the fucking wheel on.
No, it's got right there.
Yeah.
I was just sliding. The wheel was sliding a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't.
Huh.
All right, you want to put all this together?
My grip panel disintegrated, so that's why.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
All right, stop. Still on? Still on. All right. Oh, man. I think that was the only one that was seized. I think we lucked out.
Huh?
I think we lucked out. Is the other one moving?
Yeah, it looks like it.
All right. That's what we needed. Okay, so there's only one seized caliper.
Oh, hopefully. We'll keep the jack handy in case we need it again, though.
Yes, we will.
Found that other missing bolt.
Oh, are you still recording? You are still recording. All right. So, anyway, do a little walk around real quick. So it's got the 225 Slant Six in there. It's not too bad. Definitely needs a bath and probably gonna need to get pulled and get all new seals and all that fun stuff. But
New rubber all the way around.
yeah, well, other than that, you know,
Tires, hoses, belts.
body. Well, that's Bob's body. But, you know, it's not in terrible shape. Gonna go over the top here. And yeah. Probably do it better once we get out in some daylight. Yeah. Alright. Stay tuned. We still kept all the brake pieces, but I know it's all the hardware and stuff that's going to be done. We're going to have to get new stuff. We bungeed up the caliper on this side. And I'm like, we got to check the other side. I was like, hey, Bob, just give it a little push. Let's see what happens. Spins. Everything rolls. I'm like, it was just the one side. Luckily, we started on that side.
That was just dumb luck that we.
Yeah.
The first one we picked.
Well, a bunch of
seized
dumb
up.
shade tree mechanics sitting over here that are gonna have to do this shit. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it was just dumb luck that it was just the one seized side. So everything else rolled and we got it pushed out of the storage unit. And I got video of all that rolling it out. We're gonna get it. I'm gonna get that posted, like little cut-ins. Insert here. All right, here we go. You're steering.
What?
You're steering.
Trust me to drive in my condition?
Yes, I did. Ready? Should we close the trunk? No. Okay, let's see. Oh, we go. got it hard over? Alright, can you get it in my camera?
No, keep pushing. Perfect. Missed it by that much.
Oh gosh. You're still steering, right?
Huh?
You're still steering.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah, we're gonna take it out.
We're gonna take it
Out of the storage unit.
Okay.
Alright, stop.
Huh?
Stop. I'm gonna move the camera. Hold it.
All right. I'm gonna take this corner wide, which means I'm
The body pin on it. We didn't have it in this. What? Stop. This is gonna be a little tricky. I have faith in you.
just do it wide, like people left. Hopefully nobody's going down that damn street.
I'll do it.
Come right over here against this paper. Whoa, Bob.
What's the word? And then you guys will see it. Anyway, got on the flatbed. So the guy that came out first, I called up the towing company here in town. It's the first one that comes up if you search here in North Platte. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to do any name drops or anything like that. I don't want to do that. Anyway, they didn't answer. It's supposed to be 24 hours. I was like, man. So I started searching for other towing services. I called the next one, and they answered. They would help me out to get a tow truck out there to get it back to my place, but they weren't hopeful they could get a driver in town. And it's Sunday, by the way, so there's also that. So anyway, when I was on the phone with that company, the first company called me back. It goes to voicemail. So I get off the phone with the second towing truck company. Call the first one back, and they're ready to go. Able to give me a quote of $95 plus tax to get it over here. I was like, that's fine, and they're gonna bring a flatbed. So I was like, perfect. I didn't want them dragging it behind because I wasn't sure with the different size tires and stuff. I didn't want anything going on to go over a bump and it slams on the ground, any of that. So they brought the flatbed. We got it pushed out of the storage unit, which was kind of fun. I made Bob steer. I'm the muscle. I'm gonna push it. He's gonna steer it. And we got it out. We got it side of the road. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. We did it. Was coming back.
Need a bucket? There's a bucket right
No. It's just gas. I'm fine, guys. It's just gas. Anyway, we got it out. And I'm looking at it for the first time in the daylight, and I'm like, it's got some sexy lines. I'm not gonna lie. In fact, when you first sent me a message saying that, like, because we were talking about your storage unit when I was visiting family in Indiana, and you had messaged me like you were talking about, man, hey, get rid of all the stuff in my storage unit, blah blah. And I was like half paying attention because we were playing games or something. I'm just like, okay, all right, Bob, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, you have your fucking storage unit. I'll help you fucking empty it. It's not a big deal. And you're like, man, there's a whole bunch of fucking boxes and crates and blah blah blah. I got a car in there. I'm like, you got a car in there? What kind of car you got in there? And he told me what it was, and I was thinking some like Plymouth K car, because I don't know about any of this stuff. I didn't know that. I've been doing a lot of research.
70s muscle cars or muscle car one.
Right. So he said 76. My mind went to Jimmy Carter and Iran and the oil embargo and all that bullshit, and thinking it was like some neutered piece of shit.
From AMC?
No, not AMC. AMC is okay. The AMC Javelin is a fantastic fucking car. I mean, dude, it's like four-wheel drive.
I keep thinking about AMC making Harley Davidson.
Actually, I don't think it's
those
a
are
Javelin.
terrible.
All right, you guys are gonna have to tell me which one it is, but it's the one that looks like a souped up like 4-wheel drive wagon. It's fucking fantastic looking. I love it. Anyway, so he's telling me all this stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah, blah blah blah. And he's like, you want to buy it? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I don't even know what kind of car it is. I'm like, I'll take a look at it when I get back, and we'll see what happens. And then I got another message, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, because I was playing games, and Elliot's like. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, Bobby wants me to buy his car. He's like, no, I think you want to buy his car. You're just being an asshole because you're playing games and you're having a couple beers. I'm like, okay, you're probably right. That's pretty much me. So anyway, I wasn't giving it much thought, but I was like, fine, I'll look at it when I get back. Didn't do any research or anything like that. And then finally, you were down at your storage unit, came down to hang out for a weekend, and I was like, all right, you're at your storage unit. Let me go over there. Let me see what this car is. And I'm like looking at it. I'm like, this is not really what I was thinking about. Like, in one, like I had like thought about, you know, maybe restoring a car eventually, like when I'm like freaking retired and like whatever. I do like cars, but I'm also not. I mean, I'm just like I'm a novice when it comes to like working on stuff. Basically, everything I know is what I learned by working at AutoZone or like talking to like people like my brother Tim, who he's a fucking great mechanic, and he's always like fixing. He's working on a, I want to say it's an early '80s S10 that he finally got running and driving, and he's like scooting around in that. He likes it. And then my cousin Elliot, who he also has worked in auto parts and stuff like that, but also has done a lot of mechanic work and stuff too, and talking to him about stuff. So basically I saw it and I'm like, I mean, yeah, it's cool. I had no idea how it looked until we got it out today. But, you know, looking around, and I started doing research when I got home, and I was like, Plymouth Scamp. And I searched it up, and it said Mopar A-Lottie. And I'm like, wait a minute. And then I started looking at stuff. I'm like, I know Mopar. Like, I know what that is. And then started doing all the research and stuff. And, like, you know, some of these things. This has the 225 Chrysler Slant Six, the freaking unbreakable monster. Not monster. It's more like a unbreakable gremlin. But anyway, it's old reliable. So it's got the Slant Six in it. But they also came in like 318. And what's the other one? It was like 383?
I don't know if
Well, it was tight, and not very many, I think, came with it. But I know that, like, especially darts. I think darts came with that. Some of them.
they might have, yeah.
Anyway, I'll do some more research, and I'll get some figures for you of what I can find on the old interwebs. But
I remember, you know, other people telling me that it's like, yeah, if you want to drop another engine in there, do it like a 302 or maybe a.
Well, the 318 was the V8.
Or
The small. That's a small block V8 that a lot of these came with if you wanted the bigger engine.
Yeah.
So that it's set.
Yeah, I think it was the
It's set up
318,
for that. You just got to do some funky things with the motor
Right.
mounts, but other than that, you can just drive
Right.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. I know somebody said, well, you ought to drop a 350, 351 or something like that in there. And,
No, they're trying to make you put a Chevy motor
Yeah.
in a freaking Mopar car. No, you don't do that. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm gonna do some fucked up shit with this, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna keep it on Mopar.
Some of the kids I ran around with back in the day, yeah,
They
they
do.
were stupid like that, but they could make it work. I don't know how, but
Well, I mean,
you know,
basically,
a lot of
as
welding,
long as you get everything aligned and
Yeah.
you get it supported and stuff.
a lot
it's fine.
of welding and different.
We're gonna do a full tour tomorrow. I'll walk you around and talk about everything I researched and stuff like that. So it's got the Slant Six. It's an AC car. What else? It's got 3-speed transmission, so I'm sure it's got like the smaller, you know, rear axle and all that kind of stuff, and differential, and the small gears, and it's basically, this is as grocery getter as you can get. Is basically what this car is. But you have the style and the potential of something more and something fantastic.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Bob, anything else you want to mention about the car, talk about, or?
Yeah. Well, not really. Well, I guess. Oh, yeah. Well.
Well, he's gonna be helping me turn wrenches on this thing
Yeah.
anyway, just
Yeah,
because
I
it's like adult Legos, and it's gonna be
Yeah.
fucking great.
Yeah. That and I guess I wasn't supposed to sell it to anybody except for the original owner.
We don't know who that is.
Yeah. Well, my high school, one of my high school.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead. You can tell them. I'm teasing.
One of my high school classmates approached me and said, "So you still got the Scamp, right?" And I was like, "Well, yeah. Got it from what's his name?" He goes, "Well, yeah. Well, that was the one I drove in high school. And if you don't want it, I'll buy it back from you because I want to rebuild it for my kids so they can drive it to school." And I was like, "Oh, I'll keep you in mind. It's in storage, so."
Well, he snoozed, so he lost.
Well, he never really did get back to me, and I hadn't talked to him in years. But and I imagine all his kids are grown up. Grandkids
no longer in high school.
Yeah. Grandkids, if they're in high school age by now or coming up, I don't know if they'd want to drive this. So.
Right. Yeah.
Gen Z or Gen Alpha.
Well, I mean, this is going to be Roxy's car when I'm done with it. But she's not going to be in high school by the time it's done, and by the time she gets it, she's going to have to pry the keys from my cold dead fingers. Hopefully in 3 or 4 decades from now. We'll see how old I get. I mean, Joe's still kicking, so if he's still kicking, I know I can still be kicking at 40. Anyway, sorry. Too close to the election, too soon? I know it is.
Other than that, I've also had farmers ask me about it. "Oh, if you want to sell that, I'll buy it." It's like, "What would you do with it? You're too busy farming." He goes, "Well, yeah, those things have a Slant Six in them, and you can't kill them with an elephant gun. I want to take that motor out and put it in my irrigation."
Challenge accepted. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to shoot the engine. I don't even have an elephant gun. Although I know some people who might have one. We're not doing that. We're not that kind of show. We're not doing that.
I know a guy with a AK-50.
That's not an elephant gun. Elephant guns are like butt plug sized shells. Well, it depends.
Yeah.
It depends. Like if it's more of a Nebraska butt plug, not a Colorado butt plug.
I don't know anything about butt plugs.
Well, I can teach you things.
I don't want to know.
Okay. This will probably be edited out anyway. All right. So anyway, thanks for watching. We're gonna do some more work on or more details about the Scamp, maybe a little history about that era of Mopar 7076, because that's what this body style is, and and we're gonna learn, and then hopefully you can learn, or you can just roast us in the comments because you already know all this shit, and we're just a bunch of chodes that you're freaking watching to be keyboard warrior and screw us over. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. and we're going to try and stop it before it gets to
The camera.
No. I don't want it in that one. Basically, I'm going to stop pushing once it clears the end.
Okay.
Alright. Ready? Yeah. Nice and slow. Good? Probably need to go some hair that way.
Which way? Oh shit, we're good. Are we on the cardboard yet?
Yeah. We are.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let me see.
Not all the way under, but
No, that's exactly where I wanted it. That way I got all this room to actually work.
okay.
Perfect. Alright, we're going to see you guys tomorrow.